Hi everybody, I'm Phil Fatica and welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel, Channel 9. A very special guest today, doesn't speak much English but understands a lot of English. You're looking at Arona. How are you? She is just looking to look around and go kiss and sniff everybody today. And why she's here today is because the two women joining me are from the Admiral Obedience Club, Training Club. Did I get that correct? You have a long title. Sandy Globa in the middle, Janet Norman on the left. Let's first of all talk about your dog, Arona. Obedience trained?
Oh, absolutely, obedience trained.
Okay.
I don't think anyone should have a dog, Phil, and not have it trained. It's good for you, it's good for the community. We want to lessen, dog bites.
Oh, yes. And please notice that Arona is sitting and quiet and still, which is, that's very, very nice. And Janet, your connection with the Admiral Perry Obedience Training Club is, I know many connections, but the one you do the most.
I was going Trainer.
And
yes.
so that means I would come to you and say, the dog is just driving me nuts. I don't know what to do with it. The dog runs the household. It runs out of the house. It goes to the bathroom in other people's yards. I can't control it. Janet, help me. Please help me.
And they do call me. I'm the contact for the club.
Are you like the dog whisperer?
No.
You want to be the dog whisperer.
And I set up the classes. We have puppy classes and beginner classes. And we have classes 3 times a year.
Good. Now, they have, and I'm aware of this, and I'm sure you are too, that about in August you have a humongous dog show. People come from planets away to do this, and I would imagine the two of you have a great deal to do with that.
Yes.
And take off and go with that.
Well, it's an obedience trial, and we do have people coming from all over.
Yeah.
I'm trial secretary. The exhibitors have to pre-enter. And only enter dogs are allowed.
So you can't show up and just say, hey, I want to show you what my
right.
dog can go fetch a stick or something.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they have different classes. There's like a beginner class, an intermediate class, and
then like the one that really runs the household.
Right.
There's a good saying. It says dogs have masters and cats have staff. So you got 2 masters here today, young lady, and she doesn't care. She's going to take
But Phil, this is a good time too for people, if you are interested in getting a family dog, just to come and look at some of the breeds that we'll have, because we usually have about 36 different kinds of breeds that are, represented. And again, people coming from all over the United States to, look at and, participate in the obedience trial.
Westminster Kennel Club is the beauty show, of course. That's the confirmation. But that just pulls in huge ratings, and people go, I want that dog, and I want that dog, and that looks good. Well, those are really expensive dogs. You can really get a good dog, that's quote-unquote a mutt. And they bring with us today from the American Kennel Club all sorts of information just for you about, especially before you buy a dog. Let's talk about before you buy a dog, because when they're that big and they're sleeping and they're so easy, you go, oh, yes.
Right.
Then they get to be 85 pounds and it's not so.
Right. It's so important for people to really investigate and see what is good for me, what is good for my family, what is good for where I live.
Okay.
And then this way, and we suggest, coming and looking at dogs, going to the Humane Society, Anna Shelter, that type of thing. Go on the internet, go to the library.
What kind of dog suits your lifestyle?
Absolutely. Puppies are a lot of work. So do you want a puppy or do you want an older dog?
Right.
And then again,
that dog is never going to get into bed with us. And that lasts about 3 or 4 days until the puppy stops crying once he or she gets in bed with you. So.
Right, and what our club does is we really want to make sure that people don't just jump in and get a dog, and then the next thing you know, family comes along and they say, well, this dog is too much for us. Let's take it to the Humane Society. We've got to get rid of it.
Do you have a dog?
Oh, I have 3.
3 dogs?
I have 3. I have 2
You are
Shelties.
blessed. Would you have Shelties?
2 Shelties and an Australian Shepherd.
Okay. Well, we had dogs when our children were growing up, and now that they're not around anymore, it becomes difficult for us to have a dog. We're gone so much, and it's unfair that the dog would be home by his or herself all day. How many dogs have you had, Sandy?
Well, Jim and I, my husband, we puppy raise for Canine Companions for Independence. So we have actually puppy raised 6 dogs, and we have a pup in training right now, so that's our number 7. But at home living with us, we have 2 dogs right now, the one in training and Arona.
Arona right here, by the way. Yes, we're talking about you again, I know. What you mentioned about the companion canine, that's a whole different story, that you and your husband are going to heaven for sure, because you go to Columbus, Ohio, you get that dog for a year.
A little over a year.
And you incur all the expenses associated with that dog. That's something that you may be interested in, because you have to really, really, really love pets to do that.
Well, and these are service dogs for the disabled, you know, that we puppy raise and then turn them over for advanced training to go into, you know, a time period where they will become fully trained to be teamed up with someone. We just had a dog presented to a young lady from Bay Village, Ohio, and it was our number 6 puppy, Dash, and he is, she has muscular dystrophy and is doing very well, works part-time.
Oh, good.
And so, but again,
let's go back to the training, the obedience training. Janet, the club does so much. It just doesn't have that show where you can show off what you've learned. So here, I'm going to bring my dog to you. Janet, I need help. I can't control the dog. Where do I start? What do I do? What's the first thing I should know? What's the second thing? The fifth thing? What should I be prepared for?
Basically, just sign up for classes. They're 8 weeks.
And how do we do that? Do you have a website, or do you have a phone number?
You can call me.
Okay.
Because I'm the contact for everybody that signs up.
And your phone number?
866-5609.
Okay. Does the Obedience Training Club, does it have a website that people can, and that website address is?
www.apotcerie.org.
Long one.
Long one.
Say that again.
www.apotc
Admiral Perry Obedience Training Club. Erie.
.org.
Okay. Got about 40 members, I understand. You've been a nonprofit. You've been around since '65. Gosh, neither one of you was born then, right? So no problem there.
Well, actually,
and you do so many good things.
Yeah, actually, we've been around. The club first started in 1945.
Okay.
But it became incorporated as a nonprofit.
I read my notes wrong. You're right. 45. Certainly you weren't born then.
Straight.
Certainly you weren't born then. Oh my gosh.
No, we weren't. And neither were you.
Thank you. Yes. You have so many classes for the people, and also children, I understand, too. How does that work out when an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, is that a good age at which to say, sure, Janet can help you?
Well, we encourage, it's going to depend on the child.
Okay.
You know, if the child is willing to learn and listen throughout the classes, that's fine. Sometimes you may get a child that isn't
ready to do it.
Ready to do that, and you need to have the parent be there. We encourage the child to come, but it's also very interesting too, because there are some kids that will come and they'll take notes and say, "Mom, you forgot this," or "You need to do this." Another set of errors is always good.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you say classes, now you run on a schedule. That's where they have to call you, and you'll say, "Hey, this is when the next class starts." How long does a class last?
It's 8 weeks, and it's 1 hour.
And there's a fee attached to that?
Yes, it's $85.
But you're a nonprofit, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that all goes towards equipment and materials.
Right.
That's very.
So it's $85 for a class. And let's say that I bring Bowser with me and we pass. What do I do now? Do I go another level?
Well, we do have a beginner class, and you can go on further. The puppy class is usually for like dogs of the age of like 3 to 6 months, and then and depending also to the size, we may put them in the puppy, but usually if they're like 9, 10 months and above, we'll put them in the beginner. That beginner class, you'll learn all the 10 steps of the Canine Good Citizen that the American Kennel Club has.
What's a Canine Good Citizen?
It's kind of like, if you go through this program, it's kind of like a certificate that I'm a well-behaved dog in the community.
Oh, good.
So.
And that becomes a real problem because the dogs run loose. You have animal enforcement officers, kind way of saying dog catcher. possibly dog euthanizer, you know. And again, they have this, before you buy a dog, I know that it's hard to say no to your children. And then there's a book called Living with Kids and Dogs. I like that one especially.
Well,
comment on that, please, Sandy.
I would love to. Actually, we, about 2 years ago, we connected with the UPMC Hammett Women's Hospital and the Hammett Health Connection and the trauma unit of the Hammett Hospital to help prevent dog bites in the area. And so it's key to us to offer classes or seminars to people, young parents, families, grandparents, on how to introduce your new baby to your dog.
Oh, excellent.
And, you know, we have good behavior and obedient dogs that we are looking for, but we also want to try to prevent any kind of dog bite within our community.
Another pamphlet that you have available to the public is one called Dog Bite Prevention. And I've been bitten, you know, and it's your own dog, it's okay. But if it's somebody else's dog or a stray dog, you run the risk of rabies. And that's not a good thing. And are people getting more? You really should keep your dog on your property. You know, you shouldn't let your dog run and roam, especially at night. Open the door, let it go out. Hey, wherever it does its business, no problem. You know, nobody will see it anyway. So I see a lot of people walking around now with the plastic bags folded inside out, not necessarily loving what they're doing, but doing it anyway. So I like this particularly, dog bite prevention. And this is nice, animal safety awareness, such as commenting on that. What does that mean?
Well, we really want to prevent animal attacks with education. So Janet and some of our other members and myself, we actually present school-age programs to some of our children, young people in schools, to make them aware that, hey, you need to be safe around animals. Should you just run up and touch a dog or pet a dog? Absolutely never. So that's important. And so that's one of the things that we do, school-age appropriate programs.
So this dog bite prevention and animal safety awareness kind of go hand in hand. I think there's a linking there. I think going into the schools is wonderful because you come in as a real authority with the dog, and they tend to listen to you. I'm admiring your shirts that you're wearing. It says Admiral Perry Obedience Training Club. It has a low bar, high jump kind of it has is it a dumbbell? Dumbbell and a rope.
And a leash.
A leash. I meant to say leash.
That's okay.
I meant to say leash. And the significance of that would be your dog can do these kinds of things and learn to walk on leash and learn to heel, learn to stay, learn to sit, stay, and do all those things. Okay, so I'm going to learn when I go to you. Let's go back to me. I'm going to take Bowser, and you're going to tell my dog, first of all, you evaluate us, and you go, you know, Phil, it's not the dog that's got a problem, it's you that's got the problem.
That's always it.
Oh, boy. So let's celebrate. What am I doing wrong? What's the problem here?
You just have to be consistent.
Okay.
Consistent and just make sure the dog knows its boundaries.
Absolutely.
And just, I mean, your commands and everything have to be the same in each instance.
Okay. So tell me, how do I say, come, sit, stay? I mean, what do you need to yell? You can do it in a firm voice, consistent voice.
Right. Dogs like to do things for you. They really do. And if you really respect them, have a good bond with your dog, and as Janet said, be consistent in that training, you will really have a nice, well-behaved dog, one that will lay at your feet, and you know, one that will really do and make you feel comfortable and help relieve your stress level, and you know, just make
documented
you feel healthy.
Facts, medically researched that
absolutely
happens. Do you ever take any of your dogs to the nursing homes or any place where people? I think you do, don't you?
Yeah, Rona and a couple of other dogs that I have. We do the Millcreek Community Hospital Behavioral Health.
Okay.
Once a week we go there. And we meet with seniors, adults, and children. And we also go to the Achievement Center. We volunteer at the Achievement Center. We also volunteer at Erie Homes for Children. And Breviller Village is another place that we go. My mother lives there, so, but I am not the only one. We have many members that do this.
Right.
Do you like volunteers to come? Because we have a lot of people that watch and say, how do I like to help you people out? I really have an interest in pets. Do they have to be vetted at all? I mean, are they going to turn into cruel, beating people, taking dogs and doing things to them that none of us like to read about or hear about?
Oh no, we do a lot of positive training.
Okay.
It's positive training. It's on the positive side. It's gone the way of the pop and jerk and let's go, or dog at your side, pop and let's go and heel, and you know, it's positive. It's treats. We try to make it as much fun as we can. So
for the dog and the person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you ever get interested in this?
Have
you ever been a pet lover slash dog lover?
I never could have pets when I was young. So it was like, this is a perfect time when I got married. Yes, let's get a dog.
Sure.
And boy, did I learn.
It becomes for us difficult. I mean, it's a member of the family, there's no doubt about it. The dog passes on, everybody cries and says, no more, no more, no more. And then you go out 3-4 weeks later and you go, okay, that one looks good. Let's do that again. How many have you had?
Oh, geez.
Lots?
I probably have had like 7 dogs so
7
far.
dogs,
Yes.
yeah. Sandy, how about you?
Oh golly, besides the 7 from Canine Companions, I think Jim and I have had 5 of our own that we've trained and put through competitions.
In your travels with not only obedience but conformation, when you watch the things like the Westminster Kennel Club, you see new breeds appearing. Is there actually a market that people really go out and say, I'm going to marry these 2 cups and come up with a 3rd cup and come up with a new dog? And how difficult is that? I mean, it must be expensive to get your feet off the ground and say, we're going to sell you a new breed. And what's the hot breed today?
Oh, gee.
That's hard
What do
to
people
say.
like?
It is.
I think the top one right now is, I think the Labs are still number 1.
Labs are one?
Labs, German Shepherds, I think, are
and
up
as
there.
far as the designer breed, I
Yes.
would think
Yeah, that was a
maybe
nice word.
a Labradoodle.
Labradoodle.
A lot of people are, you know, they like the combination between the poodle and the Labrador.
Neighbors have one of those, they're just so lovable and friendly and
Active.
Active, yes. Our one daughter has a lab, and it's very active, and that's just part of their nature. And I think, I'm glad you said at the beginning, you have to choose a dog that fits your lifestyle. Because if you live in a 500 square foot apartment, you don't want a lab, because it's just too much. So again, on your left is Janet Norman. She's a trainer with the Admiral Perry Obedience Training Club, and in the middle is Sandy Globa. She is a board member of the club. Both of them animal lovers, along with you. I'm holding a book here called The Dog Listener, and it is from the American Kennel Club, and it looks like it's geared towards children. So are there activities in there to orient children to pets, especially dogs? Go ahead.
We usually show a video, and then we leave it up to the teacher, and then they can either, I mean, if they want us to do it, we will. But what they do is we present the video, and then the kids can come up and learn what they've practice what they learned in the video about how to approach a dog, and we use our own dogs for that. But then in the meantime, the teacher usually goes back and then goes over each page with the child to make sure that they actually understand what they've learned in each of the pages.
How important is it to have your dog licensed?
It's a state law.
Yes.
Well, it may be a state law, but we all know that you don't see a lot of people with that. So thank you both for saying that. So what does that do to ensure that the dog has a license?
Well, many times it's, you know, if you do have a dog that is lost, we're saying that if you've got a license, it can be tracked down to, hey, your dog is here, this is this person's dog. But, you know, the license is important. You know, you just want to do that. You want to get your dog vaccinated. The shots.
Next question,
Yeah, health, because there are certain things that a dog can transmit to a child or a person.
Sure.
So make sure that they are healthy. Have a good vet, and again, rabies shots. That is again by law.
That's law, right?
That's law. Yeah, yeah. Because you know, when the dog becomes a part of that family, I mean, gosh, our dog helped our daughters eat their cereal. You know, I'll have some, you have some. You know, can I have some more? Can I lick your face? Sure.
We don't promote that.
Oh, I bet you do sometimes.
No, never.
I'm just kidding you.
You know, actually, and I'm sorry I didn't bring one, but we've got some healthy toys that we like, and you know, filling them with pumpkin or sweet potatoes and then putting them in a plastic baggie and putting them in the freezer are great toys for your dog
to keep them busy.
Keep them busy.
Right.
I was just going to say, they must be bored sometimes. I mean, come on, you know, they just can't stay in a pen or a house all day. Again, you bring such good information. The dog listener we have here, dog bite prevention, animal safety awareness, living with kids and dogs. This is a big one. But I think the really big one is, and you mentioned it both, is before you buy a dog, you know, yeah, you're newlyweds, oh, let's get a dog, and then you have babies, and the dog becomes the 13th child and not around anymore.
With teeth.
With teeth.
Yes.
Teeth.
Yes. And that can be dangerous. And then you decide that I don't want the dog, and there's all kinds of ramifications. So, again, the big event that the Admiral Perry Obedience Training Club has is their show about mid-August, I think it is. They get 36 breeds, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a two-day affair.
Yes,
2-day affair. Obedience, it's a good thing to see when exactly the date's going to be, because you might look and say, you know, I really don't need that $8,000 designer dog. The one that I saw at the Humane Society that was licking my hand and looked like it wants to go home with me, that could be the one too. But training is a must, and she's the woman to call.
Yes.
Janet, again, your phone number.
866-5609.
Okay, and you're going to get them in line for obedience training.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
How about, let's jump ahead. You really have got them going, and you see the canine patrols that the police have. Now, their training is like off the scale, it must be.
Yes.
Yeah, they must go where? Special places for that, and they have dogs that either make it or don't make it, like your companion canines. Those dogs are trained to almost sacrifice their life, I would imagine, for their master. How do you detrain them when they're looking to chase down somebody, grab them by the forearm or by the pant leg and hold them there? Can you actually meld them back into a family and say, gee, forget everything we've taught you for the last 4 years?
I think it's going to be all commands. I mean, even commands for them going after a criminal, but afterwards I think they've, it's all commands, and like, I think they know the difference between being out in the public and doing their job and being home with their family.
Well, we have to again say that Arona, and that's an unusual name. Where'd you get that? A-R-O-N-A.
Yes, that's what she was named, Arona, when we got her.
Yeah, we're talking about you again, and you're wagging your tail, so we're happy for you too. But you notice that she hasn't budged through this program. Sandy, you and your husband did a good job. Yeah.
With Janet's help.
Oh, Janet's help. Yes, I mean, and I think more people do want that. You know, they want the dog to be obedient, but yet also be a fun dog, a fun thing to play with. How many people in about a year's time do you see that come in for obedience? Do you see a lot of people come to classes?
We limit our classes. There's 10 dogs in the puppy and 10 in the beginner. So we're actually seeing just 30 puppy people and.
Okay. But that's about good, huh? I mean, you don't want to make it so large that everybody feels left out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that way, the trainers hands-on.
Right, and we can like zone in on people that are having trouble and.
I have a pet peeve, but I see dog owners especially, they drive with their dogs on the lap and the windows rolled down and the dog's looking out the window and they're going 45 miles an hour and I'm going, I don't know if that's a good thing.
I cringe on that. In fact, I wish I were a policeman that I could pull them over and say, even if they're in the back of their, like a pickup truck, that really gets me. But you have to look at it. If the dog is looking out the window, once you put your head out the window and see what debris comes up from the road, what's going into their eyes. In the meantime, if they're on your lap, they become a little bit like a baby. Now there's laws for babies to be in the back seat with a car seat. They become a cushion for you, or also they can be projectile. They can also come forward, and if you're in an accident, so they should be in a harness or in a crate whenever you're traveling.
Great advice from both of you. Arona, thank you for being here. They did a really good job. You did too. We'll be seeing you at the Obedience Training School coming up in mid-August. I know you'll be there. Shannon, thank you for the valuable advice.
You're welcome.
Sandy, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget the Admiral Perry Obedience Training Club. If you have a dog or you're thinking about getting a dog, these are the two women to talk to. Until next time, I'm Phil Fatika. Say bye-bye, Rona. Bye-bye.